Now, my pleasure to introduce Ben Lai. Ben Lai helps medical professionals to win new patients without feeling pushy. Not sure if anyone can relate to that. I can. But keyword there, without feeling pushy. His soft selling approach has empowered clients to triple their annual revenue in as little as 12 months. As a former nurse, Ben will guide you on how to grow your clinic with empathy, authenticity, and ethics. Often things missing in sales, or don't go hand in hand in sales. Ben's topic tonight for you is how to sell ethically as a health professional. During his presentation, he's going to cover how to use motivational interviewing to provide a more holistic service, how to ethically and gently persuade patients to follow care plans, which is very important, we'd all agree, and how to help more patients while ensuring your clinic's prosperity. If anyone can turn selling into something ethical, something empathetic and effective, it's a former nurse. Ben's proof that you can sell with heart and without needing to binge watch Wolf of Wall Street for sales tips. So, without any further ado, put your virtual hands together for Mr. Ben Lai.
Thank you so much, Hills. It's my absolute pleasure to present tonight. And thank you. I just wanted to give an additional shout out to each and every one of you who made the effort to come tonight and to stick around. Look, we totally understand that. Hey, it's tough being a medical professional. You work long hours. It's often very physical, especially if you're a physiotherapist or a massage therapist. And this could have been your dinner time, or it could have been your family time. So thank you for investing this time into your own education. So in order to make it worth your while, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to share with you some real life tips. So this is the stuff that I already share with my clients to help them to significantly increase their revenue from their medical practices. Now, here's the thing though. I put sell in here in inverted commas. Why? Because medical professionals hate this word. Every time I'm going into a client to speak about the subject of sales, we actually have to dress it up just so that the team are willing to listen to what I have to say. And the reason is because selling has such a bad reputation. So it's my goal today to help you to overcome these mental obstacles so that you can feel more at peace with this concept and to really serve and help your patients more effectively. Just a quick photo of my kids. We've got three lovely children. This was 5 years ago. They've exploded in height, so they are much bigger than they were in this photo. And I was searching through my historical photos. This was the best one I could find of my nursing career. This was obviously celebrating Australia Day at the Monash Medical Center over in Clayton. So I was working in the pediatric ward in this particular instance. Then I moved into the neonatal intensive care unit. Now, now you may be wondering how on earth I went from nursing to sales and then to running my own business, becoming a sales coach. The long story short is that I've always had in my heart, right from a young age, to use speaking. My actual natural talent is in speaking and in teaching. And so I realized after 4 years as a nurse that this wasn't really moving towards that goal, and I had to switch gears. And I realized that, hey, if I wanted a speaking career, I'd need to learn some commercial skills. And one of those commercial skills that I didn't have was selling. So I got myself a sales job. And by the way, I know I may not come across like this during this session, but I'm actually a natural introvert. I'm the type of introvert that would just absolutely love to be left alone for long periods of time. And as a kid, when I went to parties, I would hide in a corner and hope that no one would talk to me. So that's how introverted I am. And plus, I'm also a people pleaser. I don't know how many of you in the room suffer from people pleasing syndrome, but that's basically where I've come from. And the reason that I'm sharing this with you is because I want to assure you that if you, as a medical professional, feel as though you don't have the gift of the gab, or maybe you're an introvert as well, you just want to go in and serve people and to help people, I totally get it. That's essentially where I came from too. But what I want to show you today is that it's important for us to learn these important people skills and these commercial skills. But before we do that, we need to change the way that we think about this thing called selling. So why do we need to learn how to sell? Here is a harsh reality. This is a reality check. People will buy what they want before what they need. People will buy what they want before what they need. I've got a photo of a guy smoking and drinking. I used to, one of my earliest clients was an audiology clinic. And, their hearing aids were somewhere in the vicinity of $2,000 to $4,000. And a frequent excuse that they would get for people not purchasing the hearing aids was that it was too expensive. But then they would go home and they would buy their alcohol, their cigarettes, and their widescreen TVs. So what gives? This is just a fact of human psychology. And I'm glad we've got a psychologist in the room. So Heather, you're going to resonate with everything that I'm saying today, because everything that I'm going to teach tonight is actually drawn from psychology. So feel free to correct me if I get anything wrong, but I'm pretty confident that I've got 99% of this right. So if we come to terms with this, that we understand that people are going to buy what they want before what they need, then in a very a strong sense, we have a duty of care to account for this with the patients that we are serving. If we know our patients are fickle and they're going to spend on something that is far less important than their health, then should we not change our strategy to help to accommodate for this? But we do still have to deal with that annoying, niggling feeling at the back of our head. We don't want to be that annoying, pushy salesperson. I still remember, months and months ago, I received a cold call. I accidentally picked it up, and the guy tried to use every sales technique in the book on a sales coach. And I just found it irritating. It was fake. It was very self-centered of him. And he was so pushy. And I felt genuinely like I needed therapy after that call. And so how do we overcome that? The way to do that is to reframe and to rethink the way that we see sales. Rather than seeing as this guy, he might sound a little like this. Hello there. Hey, you there. You're looking to buy a car. I'll cut you a good deal. You look like a nice guy. Rather than thinking about this guy and, about the pushy, manipulative, or greedy personality, I want you to think of yourself as being assertive, as being influential and authoritative, and to look for a win-win with the person doing business with you and for going through your care plan. But then aside from changing the way that we think about sales itself, we also have to rethink what it means to run a clinic. Now, here's a funny thing. A lot of people feel guilty about earning a profit. And they feel as though if I have really good profit margins, that somehow that's an unethical and a bad thing to do. Now, I'm assuming that every one of you in this room is not that American CEO that bought over the pharmaceutical company and then skyrocketed the price of AIDS medications by 1,000%. Okay, that's clearly unethical behavior. He monopolized the market and forced people to spend ridiculous amounts of money for necessary medication. We are not that guy. and the most hated CEO in all of America. But when you think about what the purpose of a clinic is, it's to provide treatment and to solve people's problems profitably. Now, imagine you've partnered with Jacob and you put a proposal in front of Jacob and said, Jacob, we're just going to scrape by. From a CFO's point of view, he's going to be thinking that's ridiculous, right? If you're only scraping by, how are we're carrying so much risk of having to then close our doors because we can no longer afford to continue providing these services to the people that we're trying to help. So from that perspective, we need to not only focus about helping the people, the patients that we're serving, but we also need to find ways of doing things more efficiently to make sure that we're earning a healthy profit so that we can continue reinvesting in the clinic, in your training, in your skills, and the quality of service that you are providing. Now, imagine a clinic that's just scraping by. They don't upgrade any of their facilities. It might have looked really spick and span at the beginning, but 10 years on, there's rips in the seats, the equipment's breaking, and you have no profit to buy extra equipment. So from that perspective, if you are running a clinic, you have to do it in a way that is profitable, and there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, it is for your patient's benefit that you are profitable. Now, here's how I want you to think about the quote-unquote sales process in the medical context. There's this story about the Good Samaritan. There was a guy that got beaten up, robbed, and left for dead at the side of the road. Two religious people walk by. They could have helped, they should have helped, but they just plainly didn't. They had their reasons, whatever their reasons were, they just didn't help the guy. But then the Samaritan comes along. He sees this person in need, and he goes out of his way to help him out. In the same way, we have a duty of care. I say we because I still kind of identify myself. I don't no longer have my nursing registration, but I still consider myself having a medical background. We have a duty of care to sell to our patients, because if we don't, they're probably going to spend their money on other stuff that's less important, right? That's the harsh reality. We have a duty of care to sell to our patients the care plans that we are proposing to them. But that being said, we need to make sure that we do things the proper way. There are a lot of medical ethics in place. There's a lot of rules around what you can say, what you can't say. We cannot take advantage of our privileged position as people of authority and people where the patients are putting their trust in us. We do not want to abuse that trust and manipulate people. So from that perspective, what we need to do is to look to psychology for the solution. And when I was doing my research, I came across this very interesting framework called motivational interviewing. Motivational interviewing was created by psychologists to help medical professionals to get patients to follow care plans. Now, I know it's going to be hard to get some interactivity in the room, but if I had to ask you, like just think it in your head, if you had to think about what percentage of patients would take their medication for life-saving treatment, what percent, when a doctor prescribes it, what percentage do you think would actually follow the instructions, right? And buy the medication and take the medication? According to one study, it's around 50%. 50% of patients will take diabetes medication to manage their diabetes, or blood pressure medication to manage their blood pressure. 50%. According to Jordan Peterson, the famous psychologist, he was saying that we're more likely to give our pets their pet medicine than for humans to take human medicine. Right? How absurd. We're terrible. People are terrible at looking after themselves. And so motivational interviewing was a framework that psychologists created to help medical professionals to increase adherence to care plans. When I studied this framework as a sales trainer and as a sales coach, I realized something. Hey, wait a minute. This this is a sales process. There is no difference. The only real difference is just the commercial part of it. But predominantly everything else is the same. And I'll show you what the framework is and explain along the way. So what is motivational interviewing? It's basically a sales system designed by medical professionals for medical professionals. Now, just going back to that statistic, the 50% statistic, that's for doctors prescribing medications. Now, for those of you who are in allied health, like dentistry, orthodontics, imagine, what the percentage of adherence to care plans it would be for elective treatments. So it's a bit of a scary thought. So here's what the framework is. Number one, express empathy. Number two, develop discrepancy. Number three, roll with resistance. And number four, support self-efficacy. So let's explore these in a bit more detail. Number one is to express empathy. What we need to do is to understand our patient from their perspective. Now, here's the thing. For most medical professionals, they're really good at asking the diagnostic questions. So a patient comes in, you check out their body, you ask them what might have caused their condition, and then you are very good at diagnosing and prescribing a particular treatment. But how many of us ask motivational questions? How many of us ask why they want treatment? So let me give a more specific example. So one of my really great clients is in the field of orthodontics. Now, this is elective treatment, but it's it's not a cheap service, right? So we're talking about $8,000 per child, to get orthodontic braces. Now, when a person comes in and they're exploring orthodontic treatment, what do they want? Do they just want straight teeth just for its own sake? If we don't understand what the person's motivation is, it's going to be very hard to persuade them to go ahead with the treatment. And then when it comes time to say, well, the treatment's going to cost $8,000, they're going to be thinking, oh, gee, that's a lot of money. Gee, I'm not sure if it's worth it just for straight teeth. But here's the reality. Frequently, orthodontists face this challenge with the patients who come in. They get a lot of teachers. And what do teachers care about? They care about not getting teased by the kids. Like, how demoralizing would it be for a teacher, primary school kids can be so cruel, they'll tease everyone and they'll tease the teacher. So these teachers are getting so frustrated with being teased and being demoralized at work that they're willing to make the investment in their teeth health. Now, will it help with their jaw alignment? Will it help with stopping grinding their teeth? Yes. Do they care about all of that? Maybe, maybe. But their motivation is about stopping the teasing from the kids. So if you don't understand what is motivating a person to make the investment in themselves, then we're kind of shooting in the dark. We're kind of leaving things up to the logical brain to decide. And again, referring back to psychology, we know that the vast majority of our behavior is driven by emotions, right? We make decisions emotionally, and then we justify it with the logic, right? So from that perspective, we need to empathize with our patients. And the way that we do that is by asking motivational questions. My favorite question is, what brought you in today? Right? So sometimes it's pretty obvious. Like, so for the orthodontic example again, a dentist referred me. That's kind of the obvious answer. But you could have spent this time doing anything else. You didn't have to come in. The dentist referred you, but you didn't have to come in. What prompted you to explore orthodontic treatment? Right? You want to understand the why. You don't just ask the what. What are you not happy about with your teeth? That's a frequent question they'll ask. But why? Why do you want? What would it mean for you if we were to fix this problem for you? Let's look at audiology as another example. If we were able to give you your hearing back, what would it mean for you? For some people, it means being able to hear their grandkids laughing and playing in the room across. For others, it might be to stop frustrating the wife who has to yell every time they're trying to communicate to the spouse. It means not turning the TV up to 11 volume and blasting the entire neighborhood with, with the volume of the TV. So if we don't ask these motivational questions and we only stick to diagnostic questions, we'll never understand what's at the heart of the matter. Can you see how this is so humanistic? Like this is showing genuine care for people, and it's not manipulative at all. This is not about twisting people's arm to go through with treatment. So that's the first step. Express empathy. Try to understand what motivates a person. Next is to develop discrepancy. Your patient is over here. They want to get over there, and you are the bridge that gets them there. But oftentimes, and here's the surprising thing, a lot of times people don't even know what the goal is. Now, one thing that you'll hear frequently from audiologists is that an elderly man will come in for a hearing test, and then the audiologist may ask, "Oh, what brought you in today?" "Oh, yeah, the missus told me to come in. I didn't want to come. She forced me to come." And so sometimes we got to figure out from his perspective, what's his goal? Like if we were to help him with his hearing, what difference would it make in his life? And so you're changing the motivation from just obeying his wife and just stopping her from nagging to actually wanting to make a life change for him. And then only you can put yourself in that equation to help bridge that gap. All right, so from that perspective, here's the practical step that I would suggest. Whenever you're explaining the care plan and the treatment, that you use this phrase, "what this means for you is." You can use any variation of this. This is just one version of it. But the point is that you need to translate whatever your care plan is into how it's going to benefit them and how it's going to have an impact on their life. So if you purchase these hearing aids, what you're going to have a little bit of discomfort at first, but after a while, you'll be able to notice the birds. You'll be able to hear the birds singing in the morning again. As you said, you want that. That's what you wanted to do. You'll be able to be at peace with your wife. Stop the marital squabbles. You'll be able to, or going back to the orthodontic example, you'll be able to go to school with your head up high, not worrying that the kids are going to tease you anymore. That's what it will mean for you. And once they get it, their probability of following through with the care plan, whether it requires effort or money or any other combination, they'll be much more willing to pay the price to go through with the treatment if they really understand what they're getting themselves into. So the third step is roll with the resistance. Now, people will have reasons for not wanting to go ahead with the treatment. It's often money related. So what we need to do is to invite them to voice their concerns. Just say, so what you might say is there anything that might prevent you from following this care plan? Sometimes, going back to the tablets example, sometimes people just don't like swallowing tablets, and that's their reason for not taking the medication. Sometimes they forget to take the tablets. That's also a reason that contributes to that 50% of non-adherence. So the number of reasons is many. So what we want to do is to figure out as many of these as possible ahead of time so that we can problem solve them and prevent those from preventing them from following the care plan. All right, so that's rolling with resistance. The final one is to support self-efficacy. Now, I've got a picture of a guy, a couch potato, eating potato chips. So that's cannibalism, like my dad jokes. So really what we're trying to do here is we're trying to help patients to help themselves, right? What is self-efficacy anyway? So self-efficacy is the personal power and ability to actually follow through with the treatment. So how do we empower them to do that? We gain their commitment, right? in sales language, this is called closing the sale. So you might ask a trial question, which is, how are you feeling about this plan? And you invite them. Would you like to go ahead? Don't be afraid to just ask, invite them to work with you, to purchase the hearing aids, to purchase the CPAP machine, right? You've already, if you've done all of the other steps properly, you really understand what they want, and you can show them how to get it. This should be a natural flow and a no-brainer. You should be asking this. Otherwise, are you really, I'm sorry to ask some challenging questions, but are you really fulfilling your duty of care if you do not invite them to go through with the treatment? Just a quick case study, Blamey Saunders. This is the audiology clinic that I worked with. One of my earliest clients, worked with them for 2 years. And year on year, we managed to grow their revenue base by 20% just on the things that we measured, right? We had a profound effect on so many lives because of the training that I provided for them. It's not just about the revenue. The revenue is just a representative of the people that we have helped. So we were able to achieve that. I'm personally very proud of having had a part in helping them to grow their business and their impact. So in summary, motivational interviewing is about expressing empathy. It's about developing discrepancy, rolling with resistance, and supporting self-efficacy. If you would like to book a chat to explore further, if I can provide some sales coaching to help you to improve your practice or to help to grow your revenue, just let's start off with a 15-minute chat. I'll invite you along to my group coaching program as a guest. No obligations. You can come along, just have a feel around. If it's not right for you, that's okay, right? I've been in sales long enough. I don't take a no personally. No hard feelings. Just come along, explore, see if I can help you. If not, that's all good. I just want to be able to provide an opportunity for you to impact more patients and to help more lives. Thank you so much.
Do we have any? Thank you, Ben. Amazing as always. Do you have any questions for Ben?
Yeah, I'll put my hand up actually, because one that's been rolling around in my mind, Hills, has been actually how do you avoid being perceived as pushy when recommending treatment? Because I think a lot of people in all walks of life, whenever there's a sales component, there's that worry that sits there around that. Tell me a bit about that, please.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a very big fear that a lot of health professionals have. And and in fact, one particular industry, the chiropractor industry, unfortunately has developed a bit of a negative reputation in this way because they have gone through other kinds of sales training and they've just gone overboard with it. So the real secret to not being pushy is to be 100% client-centric, right? You're anything that you say and anything that you do, you are doing it for their benefit, not your own benefit. If you get that part right, the vast majority of words that you say, your body language, your tone of voice, everything follows your intent. And trust is a lot higher when you show that you are interested in helping them rather than just trying to fill your pockets. Now, I think most people don't have a problem with this, but they tend to go from from being aggressive to being passive. And so really it's about finding the middle ground, which is being assertive. And the way you be assertive is that you show you demonstrate your capabilities and your competence, but you also are willing and bold enough to actually make the recommendations and to say it with a certain degree of certainty. Now, just as a quick final note on that, be willing to say no to a patient. If they're looking for treatment and you say, I don't think that you should be getting physio to solve that problem, you need to see a different specialist, be willing to say that. The willingness to say no shows to the person definitively you are looking out for their best interests. So that would be the way that I would prevent being perceived as being pushy.